Okay, so in the book Samir and Yonatan, we were reading chapters from 15 to 20. And one of the main big ideas or themes we were to focus on would be friendship and hope.
Yeah. This basic summary of this chapter 15 to 20. Like, this part is about when he had the surgery and his interesting dreams with his grandpa, and like how he saw Ludmilla, and then they went around. And it also talks about when before he got injured, he was with Adnan, I think. Yeah. And they hung out. Yeah.
I have a question. Do you guys think that Samir is happy for having the surgery? Do you have any evidence from the text?
I'm pretty sure he's not happy about having the surgery because at the beginning of the book, even in chapter 1, it talks about how it talks about how he saw a guy on the street legless, and he said, "I would much rather be that guy than to go to this and have surgery."
I kind of think he wants, because on page 105, it was like, "I must not think about Taza's brother. I must shake off this anger." Because, before he was talking about that Taza's brother was the paratrooper, and he thought that Taza's brother killed his brother. So I think he wants to have the surgery.
So throughout this book, I could see a lot of examples of friendship from the text. On page 12, in the beginning, it says middle to end. On page 12 of the book is when all the kids first meet, and they seem really friendly with each other, and that shows friendship. So, for example, this girl, I'm Razia, says the girl with the bandage in the far bread. It talks about kindness and opening up to each other. And also in the beginning, on page 22, it says, it talks about how they were, they felt like together as a whole. They lie still, waiting for something. This talks about how he's talking about the whole group as a whole, and it shows about how friendship is they're talking about each other. It's shows about friendship. And I still have a lot, but do you guys have any?
Yeah, I think for friendship, it's on 95. Because Raza, her father is coming to meet her, but she was kind of sad and didn't want to see him, and she was crying, and all of the others helped her.
Yeah, and it also showed the theme of friendship, and throughout the book, because him and forgot the guy that died, that was very good friend. What was he called?
Adnan or his brother?
Yeah.
Adi.
Yeah, and then also in when he was with Adnan, they did all these things together, so it also shows the theme of friendship.
So in the middle, some themes of friendship I could see would be on page 35. It says, all day long I watch Yonatan, but nothing happened. And all the way to the end, it talks about how the first relationship between Samir and Yonatan, and how they greet each other, and how Yonatan is a really open person. And also on that page it says, "Want to come with me to planet Mars?" Just like that, simple, just like Anand asks. "Want to come with me to look for Marlboro stubs?" It also talks about how Yonatan is really open to Summer, and they're finding a friendship. Do you want to come to Mars with me? It's kind of
I have a question. In the back, it talks about his grandpa in his dream, and what do you think who is his grandpa? What do you think his identity is?
Well, as we already know from the reading, his grandpa's a blind person, so he probably feels more than he can see. He judges people by the way he feels, so he's a really sentimental person. Because throughout the reading, somewhere in the book, he always talks about how his grandpa's like, he can't see anything, so he's been lied to a lot.
I think that there is hope in this book, to like how you said, because on page 74, it was like the rest of the kids are sleeping when the Dr. America showed up. So it means that Samir will be able to walk again, like nicely with 2 feet, because the Doctor from America came and helped him.
On page 85, I noticed that, so on page 85, it talks about, I can't remember when I was so free to do what I wanted. Maybe in nursery school, but that was a long time ago. And throughout this paragraph, it really explains. And then at the last, it says, I look at Yonatan, who's busy working on his comet, and suddenly I wish I was like him. I'd like it to be Dad and me, and Dad would be mine alone. I really liked how it shows about like how he's noticing the people around him, and the author did a really good job of tone and like comparing like Summer's old school to now, and how what he wants in life and what he desires.
Yeah, and it also shows what he thinks.
Yeah.
Because you know, like other people, like for example, Tyler's brothers meeting him, and then like they're all visiting him, and like their dads are, but only like Samir's dad isn't visiting him, so and he wants him to.
Yeah.
And
I also think that there's hope on page 96, because it was like Radha meets her father, and even though she's a little scared that she'll get like hit again, she still like tried to meet him, because of course he needs his father to live.
A question I have is on page 78. Yonatan talks about going to Mars together. So it says, when you come back from your operation, we'll go to Mars, Yonatan whispers. I talk about it with Vardina. They'll give you a wheelchair till your leg gets better. And then also at the bottom it says, together we're 2 boys with 3 legs and 3 hands. I noticed that they were really together. The friendship was obviously really highlighted, because together we're 2 boys with 3 legs and 3 hands. It shows about how they're not only single individuals, but they're together. And also, do you think that Yonatan is doing this because he feels like how they are really good friends and they have like something with each other? Do you think that Yonatan is doing this because he feels like they're really good friends and they're safe?
I kind of think that because they're friends, and then like when Samir wasn't there, like Yonatan was also kind of like not really bored, but like he didn't really go out with the others. And then now Samir came, and then he's trying to work together with them, and then like have a good best friend.
yeah, and I also think like, cause in that room there's only these 2 people, and then you have to be friends with someone, also get like really bored. So of course they want to be like really good friends with someone.
Yeah, and they have the same personality.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So on page 85, it talks a lot about, as I already said, it talks a lot about his feelings, his thoughts. But did you notice any tone and significance in this like specialized page? Because it really talks, the author really like shows about how, about what his thoughts are. Like for example, so peaceful you could hear flies buzzing. I think that really like created an image in my mind. And same with the rest. I pictured like a house, a normal family in Israel, near Palestine, and I could picture like I could totally see their culture.
Yeah, and it also says like sitting around sculpture and clay and eating roses. sour cream and won't be able to like see it enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also like shows a lot of people peaceful.
And then other things for hope, on page 63, it was like how those brothers showed up. But do you guys think that like being paratroopers are good? Because in the text, Taza is keep on saying, "Oh, paratroopers are coming," and then he's like, "My brother is one, and my whole family is one." And he's like keep on trying to tell like the others that his family members are paratroopers.
So I think to Taji it can be good because like that's like his whole family is a paratrooper, but then to Samir like he doesn't really like paratroopers because it's from the other country and yeah they killed many of the people.
Yeah, and then like Samir thinks that Taza's brother killed his brother.
And as Chen said, it since it is the enemy, but I'm sure Sahi is proud because his family is like really strong, really powerful. They're fighting for their country and everything, so of course he's proud. It's kind of like the U.S. military. When you're a military person, you're usually more honored. But however, if let's say there's a kid in Israel who there's a kid in Iraq, which one of the U.S. Army members killed their, let's say, dad. Of course, he wouldn't like the U.S. paratroopers. As for, not paratroopers, like military men, but the U.S. are really proud of their military.
So it kind of actually depends on where you're from.
Yeah, and the culture. Yeah.
And also, as I just made up of a question from your question, is that so in this reading, it really talks about the two sides and how they're able to bond through kids and how there's like a lot of evidence of friendship and hope. Do you think that if like in real life, if the world was able to like bond as the people here eventually, do you think the world would be a better place?
Like, because everybody's together and there will be no more conflict and wars and stuff.
Yeah, I think like everyone like believe in one thing mostly, and like if they don't like want, because some like countries they're fighting for land. Like if they just keep it like peaceful, then it should be better.
Well, one of my connections is like when they were in playing around in the field. Kind of reminded me of when I was like a kid. And I just okay, it's almost time to go.
Okay.
Share anything else you want to share?
I think we're good.
Alright.
Thank you.
Bye.